Good evening everyone, welcome to Grandma's Handbag. We have a subscriber contest entry here for Hannah's, the Omaha Introvert's 500 subscriber contest. Points of order first. Believe it or not, I do actually do things outside of pontificate on music. So I'm sorry to have to do this, but I'm actually in the process of, well, how clinical does that sound? It's actually a very special anniversary, 2 anniversaries. My wife and I, 10 years since we met. So we're going to head out for some dinner pretty soon. Just something nice and quiet. So yeah, 10 years since met. And secondly, to all you guys, I think it's about my first anniversary on the VC. So cheers to all of you as well. Thirdly, cheers Hannah. I better top your glass up. Don't worry, I'll help you out with that. May as well top both of these up, eh? The helper is 2 years old, an Australian beer. Lovely local stuff, and it'll reappear shortly anyway. 500 subscribers. Congratulations, Hannah. Great channel. Look, it's been lovely watching your channel grow from the start. There was never any question it was going to be a great one, and it continues to be. Just a love of music. I think I really get that from your channel. Not only that, your knowledge is pretty broad. It's pretty wide. It's incredible to watch. Watch you build a collection, talk us through what you enjoy, and also I think everyone here really enjoys your videos with Chris, because it boggles my mind you could live in kind of a musical family. I'd say there's more than a few of us here use the VC and YouTube as kind of an outlet to connect, because at home it's kind of that's nice dear to our musical intricacies, shall we say. So anyway, it's really nice seeing you guys do videos together, and yeah, 500 subscribers, congratulations. Now, if I remember the questions, I know I've waited a while to do this. First question, where are you from? Well, if you hadn't already gathered by the weird way that I talk, Australia. Where specifically in Australia? I live 10 miles out of Sydney, and if you want to get any closer, I've just realised that one of my favourite old drinks, the helper here, 2 years old, is brewed just a couple of, probably a mile away from where I live, so it's happy days indeed. Sydney, Australia, 2 years old country. That's that question. What was the next one? I think there was something about the best sounding record in your collection. Now this is a little bit of a hard one, because there's a couple of touchstones I guess I go to, but I'll go with the latest one that really impressed me, and it's this one. Otis Blue, Otis Redding Sing Soul. This is a remaster, a reissue. It could well be a remaster, but this is a mono version, and cracked this open not too long ago. It will come up in a video soon, and I tell you what, you're never going to go too wrong with a Stax Atlantic Soul record in the 60s. They're all, beautifully played, beautifully made, but that mono needle, the mono mix here, it really felt like Al Jackson's drums were slamming in the room. You're in the middle of it all. Just a hot sounding performance all around from the singer and the band. So that is a great sounding record, let me tell you. If you find it in mono, grab it. If you find it anyway, grab it. Morning. I forgot to answer one question. The decade I like the least in music. The 1930s. Swing bands, the lack of blues 78s compared to the 1920s. Yeah, that's it. Love to hear more discussion on it, actually. I could be very wrong on this decade. 1930s. Alright, next one. I think they will show 5 psych records. Well, I'm not really any authority on psych. I definitely like psych. I know what I like. You know, and most of my interest, I haven't really collected it on vinyl, but I've gone more towards the children of psychedelia, if I can put it that way. So I'll show a couple of oldies and a couple of new ones. First things first though, I mean, that to me is essential 60s psych no matter where you go. So look, whether you need the 2 vinyl edition or the 4 CD with, I mean, I think there's over 100 tracks on the 4 CD edition. That was pivotal listening for me when that got reissued, I think in about 98. Paid a fortune for it then and don't regret a second of it. So anyway, 5 records. First one, we'll go with some Aussie psych or psych tinge stuff. So the Masters Apprentices, The Hands of Time. This is, tell you what, there's a lot of tracks, 18 tracks based from 1966 to 1972. And there's some really cracking psych tracks on here. Undecided, Wars or Hands of Time, and Living in a Child's Dream, all worth having a look for. If I find a link, I'll even put them down below. And as with a lot of Aussie bands, they mainly flirted with psych, you know, as a fashion of the time. Masters Apprentices ended up sort of heading over to England right at the fag end of psychedelia, 68, 69 I think. Recorded a couple of albums there, and they got progressively more progressive, I guess, harder and heavier and a little more fuzzed out, a little less 60s psych and maybe more 70s hard rock psych. Because I Love You was a famous anthem, not so psyche, but another good one as well. So yeah, Masters Apprentices, The Hands of Time. There's a great blurb, really well written notes in there as well, and the discography saying when things were released. So Masters Apprentices. The next one, what have we got here? We'll stick to the 60s. Hey, I haven't got vinyl on this, but Os Mutantes, first album. Oh, that never sounds good, does it? First album, 68. So this is Tropicalia, but there's a ton of psych throughout this. Homemade guitar effects, very spooky kind of atmospheric. You can sort of see it on there. The back picture's a little tamer, but I always think that's a great psych picture or album cover, and just a great psych album as well. So Os Mutantes, 68. And then we bring it up into some more modern neo-psych or retro-psych, whatever you want to call it. This is just a 12-inch here, but I mean, if that's not a psychedelic cover or intimation of what's in store, then I'm not sure what is. So this is Spaceman 3 and the 12-inch of Big City and Drive. So great song. I think this version goes for it might be 8 to 9 minutes, so it's an extended one over the album version even, and I just love it. Very trancey, synths in the psych, but never mind that, still some heavy psych. Speaking of heavy psych, the Warlocks, the Phoenix album from 2002. Coincidentally was actually produced by or co-produced by Sonic Boom, who was in Spaceman 3. So there's some psych credentials for you as well. Now if I read the hype sticker here, Kerrang! Psychedelic Saviors of Rock. So there you go, it says psych right there. Rolling Stone, an acid punk monster of a CD. Not going to argue with that. And probably NME nailed it best. The best modern narcotic rock you're ever going to lay your hands on. Yeah, so if you think Velvet Underground's first and second albums count as psych, this is definitely going to be a psych album for you. It certainly is for me. I mean, look, even the cover, those sorts of rays beaming out the skull, the thought droplets, definite 60s vibes. And the last one is what we've got playing here. Michael Head and the Strands. The Magical World of the Strands. So this album is kind of already a forgotten classic, and it might only just be hitting its 20th or 21st anniversary. Michael Head was in Shack, and earlier than that, The Pale Fountains. This album is, if you count Forever Changes by Love as psych, then this album is very much a psych folk pop album. Really, really lovely stuff. This album sort of gets its hooks into you. And I do recommend you tracking it down. These guys were Liverpool boys, and mainly sort of recorded between the mid-80s and the mid-noughties. But this album, 97 initially from memory. Horribly expensive original copies. Luckily this is a reissue from around about 3 or 4 years ago. So totally recommend that as a modern psych album. Alright, one left, and it's the bonus question now. I was a bit worried about this. Show a cat on your albums. Well, I haven't already. Cheers, Hannah. Cheers to 500, and cheers to 500 more. Now, I'm sure we've spoken of this one early on, maybe somewhere, and I have a feeling you'll be a fan of this. But Best Coast. I was just going to call it self-titled, but no, it's Crazy for You, and there's your cat. With a little bit of California bitten off the end of the cat right there. I love that cover. And what a great album it is as well. I don't need to sell, pretty sure I don't need to sell it to you, Hannah, but anyone else. It's surf pop, surf rock, and just flawless. I don't know if they've ever matched it really. They've done some nice songs since, but this one, everything you want. Barely an ounce of fat on there, and top stuff. So that's it. I hope I haven't taken up too much time, everyone. Cheers to you all. Cheers again, Hannah. Congratulations, and yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Thank you for subscribing as well. Hope to be back very soon, and look forward to talking to you all a little later on. Have a great weekend if you're catching this as well. Cheers.